Have you ever stepped into a place so luxurious, so dazzling, and yet felt completely invisible? Not in the philosophical sense of to be or not to be, but in the very real, physical way. You're standing there, breathing, fully present and still. No one sees you, no one hears you. It's as if you don't exist. For Malik Johnson, a black entrepreneur who built a luxury hotel empire from nothing, that feeling wasn't new. What stung was this: he felt it inside his own hotel. And this wasn't just another day. This was the day everything changed. Have you ever walked into a place full of light and elegance, where everything is designed to make people feel special, and yet, somehow, felt completely invisible? Not invisible like, we're just specks of dust in the universe, but literally invisible. You're there, fully grown, standing tall, breathing, and still. No one looks at you. No one speaks. No glance. No greeting. Not even a nod to acknowledge your existence. Malik Johnson felt that, inside a hotel that bore his name, one of the crown jewels of the luxury chain he spent nearly 2 decades building. He didn't come to enjoy the service. He didn't need red carpets or bowed heads. He came to see something for himself, to find out if the complaints he'd been hearing were real, or just isolated incidents. So he showed up. No suit, no driver, no heads up, just a man with a small bag and a name on the reservation list. But what broke his heart was how people didn't even look at him as a person. From the very first moment at the front desk, Malik saw it clearly. He wasn't welcome. No greeting, no warm eye contact, no smile, just cold indifference, and it cut deep. He, the founder of a hotel empire built on the belief of respect and serve every human being, was being treated like a nuisance. Like someone getting in the way of an exhausting day. Malik wasn't angry. He was disappointed, because this wasn't a system error. It wasn't a technical glitch. This was a choice. A human being choosing to treat another like they don't matter. And Malik knew. It was time to see the truth for himself, not through reports, but through real experience. Because sometimes, to save a dream, you have to walk into it with eyes wide open, heart exposed, and yes, ready to get hurt. Malik stood there, like a shadow. The front desk wasn't busy. No long line. Just one staff member, a young woman, maybe in her early 20s. Skinny frame, platinum blonde hair. Her name tag said, Tracy. She didn't look up, eyes glued to her phone, fingers scrolling with more focus than she gave her actual job. To her, Malik didn't exist. He cleared his throat, softly, politely. No response. He tapped the counter. Still nothing. Finally, he spoke. Excuse me, I have a reservation. My name is Malik Johnson. Tracy sighed, not from workload, but because he interrupted her text or whatever story she was reading. Still looking at her phone, she typed with one hand. What's the name again? Malik Johnson. Don't see it. She said it flatly. No second look, no follow-up questions, no apology, just a blunt dismissal. And back to her phone like the conversation never happened. Malik stayed calm, his voice low, steady. I have a confirmation email. I can show you. She glanced briefly at his screen, then shook her head, uninterested. If it's not in the system, it's not in the system. Maybe you booked the wrong hotel. Happens all the time. To most people, that might sound like a harmless mistake. But to Malik, it was something else. It wasn't just a missing name. It was a rejection of who he was. Still, no shouting, no arguing. He quietly pulled out a second phone, the one he used for work. Logged into the internal system. Checked the records. Just as he expected, his reservation was there. Correct. Confirmed. But one small line in red caught his eye. Manually deleted. User. Tracy M. It was her. She had erased him, deliberately. Not a mistake. And in that moment, Malik wasn't sad anymore. He was awake. Sure. Here's the full English translation of your text. Malik looked up from the screen. His eyes were no longer gentle. They were the eyes of someone who had seen the truth, and had no intention of letting it go. He raised his head and asked, his voice low and clear. Tracy, may I ask you something? What? She replied, still not bothering to look up. If someone's name is deleted from the system, what happens? Tracy shrugged. Well, no reservation. That's it. As if they never existed. And who has the authority to do that? Only front desk staff. Like me. Malik nodded, then slowly turned his phone screen toward her. A line was clearly displayed. Reservation manually deleted by user Tracy M. For the first time that evening, Tracy was truly silent. Her eyes scanned the screen, then looked back at Malik, who was now standing upright, no longer smiling, saying nothing more. Tracy stammered, I don't know, maybe it was a mistake." "There was no mistake," Malik cut in, his voice calm but frighteningly steady. "You looked at me, decided I didn't belong here, and deleted my name from the list." She swallowed hard, her hands slightly trembling. Malik took a step forward, leaned in a little, and lowered his voice. "Who do you think I am? Tracy?" Tracy didn't answer. Just a black man walking into a luxury hotel. No suit, no luggage, no obvious status. "And because of that, you thought you had the right to deny me." No one in the lobby dared to say a word. A few guests had begun to notice and whisper. A male staff member stood against the wall, still holding his hat like time had frozen. Malik stood up straight and quietly pulled out a card from his wallet, the highest level system access card. He reopened the employee records and read aloud. Tracy M. Receptionist, employed here for 1 year and 7 months. Has 3 unresolved internal reports. 5 customer complaints not officially logged. 2 instances of intentionally denying guests with reservations for being inappropriate. Tracy's face turned pale. I don't remember." "You don't need to remember. The system remembers." Malik took a deep breath and stepped back. He spoke louder, clearer, not just to Tracy, but to the whole lobby. "You deleted me from the system. But I'm the one who wrote this system." And that was when the atmosphere completely changed. From here, do you want to heighten the climax with a confrontation with management? Or shift to the behind the scenes, where Malik personally cleans up every flaw in the system? The hotel lobby fell unusually silent. No footsteps, no typing, only silence and eyes all fixed on Malik, the man who, just minutes ago, was seen as a stranger, now standing there, telling a truth no one dared to interrupt. A man stepped out from the back. Suit, tie, hurried steps. It was Richard, the hotel manager. "What's going on here?" he asked while looking at Malik, the only one not in uniform, yet the one standing the most firmly. Malik turned and pointed to the system screen. "What's going on?" "Your employee just deleted my name from the system because she assumed I wasn't qualified to be here." Richard frowned and looked at Tracy. "Tracy, is this true?" I thought." "You thought what?" Malik interrupted, his voice louder for the first time. He didn't need to yell. His voice was now strong enough for everyone to hear, and sharp enough to cut through to the truth. "I don't need special treatment just because I'm the CEO. But I can't stay silent when someone is treated unfairly just because they don't look the part." Richard began to grasp the situation. He tilted his head, looked more closely at Malik, then exhaled. "Mr. Malik, we sincerely apologize for." "I don't need an apology. I need a system that works the way it's supposed to." Malik turned back, his eyes no longer angry, just full of resolve. "I built this platform so that guests wouldn't be judged based on skin color, clothing, or accent. I built it to ensure that anyone listed in the system is welcomed properly." He looked at Tracy one last time. "If you can easily delete a name based on your personal feelings, then this system needs to be rewritten." Then he turned to Richard. "You have 30 days. Either overhaul the entire process, or I'll pull the platform from your hotel chain. I won't let my name stand behind a system that allows bias to thrive." Richard nodded. No one in the lobby said a word. Malik walked out the door. Outside, the rain was still falling gently. But he didn't need an umbrella. He knew that after tonight, something had started to change, not just in this hotel, but in the way people see one another. 1 month later, the hotel lobby was still the same, still luxurious, still brightly lit, but a few things were no longer as they were. Employee name tags were changed for better visibility. The check-in system now had a manual confirmation step, to reduce reliance on personal judgment. And all staff were required to undergo a new training program, one focused on seeing customers not through appearance, but through basic human respect. Malik didn't return. He didn't need to. He didn't want to become a symbol of a moral lesson. He just wanted the system he built to work as it should. But the story of that day was still whispered about. Some said, a CEO rejected by a receptionist? That only happens in movies. Others said, thank God he spoke up. How many people have walked away silently before? And Tracy, The one who had once looked at Malik with suspicion, now sat behind the desk. Every time she typed in a guest's name, she paused for a moment, looked more closely, remembered that day. One time, an elderly man walked in, messy hair, rain-soaked coat, broken English. She typed in his name. Only one name appeared. She looked at the screen, then looked up, and smiled. "Welcome, sir. We're happy to have you." No one saw Malik, standing somewhere in the distance, smiling. But if he had known, he wouldn't have said anything. Because sometimes, change doesn't need to be loud. It just needs someone who dares not to stay silent. One day, Malik's system recorded an unusual figure. The rate of guests being wrongfully denied had dropped by 87% in less than 2 months. Not because the software had been upgraded, but because people had changed how they used it. Malik didn't celebrate. He simply opened his laptop and typed a few lines into the project log. "We built a good system. But only when people understand why it was created, does it become meaningful." In another city, another hotel, a newly hired receptionist was being trained. In the training materials, there was a small section titled, "The Story of a Deleted Name." The trainer explained in a calm, steady voice, "Once, a CEO was deleted from the system because he didn't look like a VIP. But instead of walking away in anger, he left a lesson that changed the entire hotel chain." A trainee raised their hand. "What was his name?" The trainer smiled. "That's not important. What matters is that from that day on, we learned to double-check the system. And to double-check ourselves. The story you just read isn't only about a CEO, a hotel, or a mistake. It's about something we've all faced. Being misjudged, being misunderstood, being dismissed. But more importantly, it's a reminder. Injustice isn't always loud, and change doesn't always start with people in power. Sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to stand still and ask, "Why is this considered normal?" And from that moment, the whole system has to take a look at itself. Malik didn't need people to know his name. But after that day, more people began to remember. Respect isn't a reward. It's the basic right everyone deserves.